The shoulder joint is an interesting joint. It's the most mobile joint in the entire body. Flexion, extension, internal and external rotation, abduction, and adduction. So many joint functions done in various combinations that allow us to do things other mammals cannot do. The shoulder joint has the versatility to do almost anything. Some people can even pop it in and pop it out. Not normal, and it'll look a little gross. The humeral head sits inside the glenoid fossa. Fossa means shallow depression. A ball and socket with a ton of freedom. Combine it with the AC joint, the acromioclavicular joint, the SC joint, the sternoclavicular joint. That's where the sternum connects to the clavicle. And then combine it with shoulder elevation, shoulder depression. The SJ joint, scapulothoracic joint, most people don't know. It's the shoulder blade against the back of the spine. That also is a joint in itself. When you think about all these movements, it's no surprise that the shoulder is so frequently injured. Hey guys, look what I can do. Snap City, baby. With that said, how do you remedy this? How do you prevent the shoulder from having problems? As you know, I've been having AC joint problems, and I'm sure you listening have encountered some type of shoulder problem that is the same or probably shoulder impingement. But think about this for a moment. Even if you're not a coach, a personal trainer, a physio, chiropractor, therapist, physician, what can you do to prevent yourself from getting hurt? My favorite remedy is strength. If you get stronger, you can handle all sorts of bad positions. You can move fast, and you can move a ton of weight. Strength is an important piece of the puzzle, but it's not the first choice when it comes to fixing things. The first choice is control and stability. To use a more technical term, motor control is the first place to start. Can you move like you should? Do you have full range of motion? A close second to motor control is stability. Is the shoulder joint stable? Are you able to keep it stable? The more stable the joint, the less likely the chance of injury. This is the reason why muscles around the rotator cuff, the chest, the lat, the shoulder, the delts, all those muscles get real tight because it helps the joint become more stable. Not always great and not great in most situations or all situations, but great in other situations. It just depends on what your daily activities consist of. I want you to imagine a ball bearing sitting atop a pizza pan. The pizza pan is the glenoid fossa. The ball bearing is the humeral head, the head of the humerus that's in the socket of the scapula. When you move your arm, you're basically trying to balance the humeral head in the center of the glenoid fossa. The system is the strongest at the center, when that ball bearing or that humeral head is in the center of that glenoid fossa. Your rotator cuff muscles are the small strips of meat that allow for the humerus to stay centered. This is for optimal function, strength, and stability. This all equals lower risk for injury. Everything you do to lift heavy is the result of a highly coordinated effort of joints, ligaments, tendons, and muscles, performing like a team, like an orchestra, a symphony, or a football team to get the job done. This is why it's important to train patterns to teach muscles. Because a lot of the time, external rotation, overhead, for example, are really important. And a lot of people don't have full flexion. There's this world famous Russian Olympic weightlifter you probably know. He's a beast, total beast. He's jacked. His name is Dmitry Klokov. I saw this funny video of Klokov learning how to play golf. It's pretty entertaining how horrific he is. There's a link in the video in the description. In case you're mobile, you click the link, you can go ahead and skip to 4 minute and 29 mark. Of course, it's not in his skill set, but this guy's a world champion and is ridiculously strong. He can snatch 192 kilos. That's 423 pounds overhead. And he can clean and jerk 227 kilos. That's a 500-pound clean and jerk. It's crazy how strong this guy is. But he can't hit a golf ball very well. The coordinated effort isn't there for a good golf swing, but it's there for barbell lifts. And this is really important to understand because weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, is totally different than golf. But keep in mind that every skill, any exercise you do, like even if it's a bicep curl or a shoulder press, it's a learned skill. It's a learned pattern. Sports have lots of complicated patterns, most like ball sports, team sports. But when it comes to weightlifting, for example, the movement is complicated, but nothing like running, stopping, turning around, shooting a basketball, for example. Anyways, my point is that there are a series of different skills and movements, and you learn this. This is motor control. This is something you have to practice. And that's kind of why if you want strong shoulders, you want to prevent your shoulder from getting hurt, is you got to move right in the first place. All the strengthening in the world is not going to help you, especially if you get really strong, because more strength will amplify injury, will amplify bad motor pattern, which will lead to getting hurt. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have always perfect form, but it's understanding where you sacrifice good form. Because a lot of the time when you do sacrifice good form, you are doing it for competition, you're doing it for sports, you're doing it for PR. But if you do it all the time on even submaximal lifts, there's a good chance that you're going to get hurt sooner than later. So perfect form and training patterns results in building strength and muscles for specific skills. And that's kind of where I'll end it. But my question of the day is, what is your best pattern? Is it the bench? Is it the squat or the deadlift? Tell me, it's a snatch, clean and jerk. Share your experience with me. Is your best pattern using an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller? I mean, some will argue that, they're different controllers. There's different skill. They're very similar, of course. My point of using these two analogies is that a lot of the time, we have this pattern. You got to think about, why are you good at this pattern? One of the reasons why I'm good at the deadlift, or why I've gravitated towards getting really good at the deadlift, is because I did a ton of kettlebell swings. Even though kettlebell swing is generally not more than 40 pounds, 50 pounds, it's a hip hinge movement. And I've done a crap load. I've probably done thousands of kettlebell swings before I actually got into powerlifting. So once I started to learn how to deadlift, a lot of those patterns that I ingrained allowed me to deadlift really well. So that's my theory anyway, with my own experience. But anyways, leave a question if you have a question. Leave a comment if you want to comment. Thanks for watching. Check the link of Klokov hitting the golf ball terribly. And I'll see you guys on the next video. So one of the things I learned throughout all this benching, even though I hurt my shoulder in the end of it, is that I was able to figure out my bench setup. If you can see here how I retract my shoulder blades to a point where my head is floating off the bench, and I dig it in using the pressure of the bar to pressurize my back, and then I drive my legs to lever my entire body up without moving my head position, or moving it as little as possible before unracking the weight. And I've been consistently doing this, and this has allowed me to get really good tightness and proper lat activation, and it's made me really strong. This is 260. I did 8 sets of 4, something I've never been able to do. And that's a little bonus tip here at the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.